the previous tutorial, we have learned about the rest of the data types of a list, tuple, and sets. So now we are coming to the final one, which is dictionary. Dictionary is more strategic and useful, and we can use it in so many scenarios because dictionaries are in a key value order. So in dictionary, are used to store values in a key values pairs. A dictionary is a collection of ordered, which means they're ordered the same way we define them. They're actually printed that way. So uh, dictionaries are defined with a curly bracket, just like we do with the sets, but because the only difference is that they are key and pair values. So if I'm going to define a variable, the student info, and to define a dictionary, we just use a curly bracket, but they should be fast. So I'm just going to use here a double quote or a single quote. They all work, but I just prefer to use double. So I'm just going to say the name, and which is now the key, and the value of it. To assign the value, you just need to use colon in front of it, and then another double quote, and then just find past the value. In this case, I just made a name, which is a key, and it all the value of a name, which is my name. Now, if I print it here, you would see it is printed in this format, which is in a key and pair value. So the same way we assign multiples, to assign multiple, we just need to use comma and just use student ID, and then something like age. You just put it here to 23. You see here, we will be able to define a very useful information. We'll be able to pass a key pair values in a very, very useful way. Now, if you look at this one, you would see they are very, very clear and they are well arranged. So this is the way, if you have something to do with such kind of values, you can just define the dictionary in this way. So dictionary, they are mutable, which means we can access the values. Let me just say I want to access the name. In the previous tutorial, we know we access values like this one. Say if I want to access this one, and I put a print statement like this. But in the dictionary's case, it's going to be a little different, because if I print this one here, it should show you an error that it is a key error, one is not recognized. Because in dictionary, they don't actually use number, but instead we just define the key. In this case, if it is a name, it should return the value of it. If it is an age, it should also return it this way, which is more nicer than the previous one that we have seen all. So this is another way we do them. And when we say they are immutable, which means we can also change the items of it. Now we can also perform the same operation of length. If we check the length like this one, it should 100% work without any error, of which now it is 3, because now you see we have name, we have student, and we have also age. So this is another way of doing it. So it has so many other methods that we can actually perform on this list. So now we can also add something like, if you want to print, for example, it directly, you can also create a new variable to such as a variable, such as a student, which means this value here, if you want to perform an operation on just only one, you just index it, just like an indexing, but now we just pass it as a string, the name of a value of a key. In this case, student ID, which is 123, which means the value of 123 is just stored here in X. And if I print X, it should just print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exactly this way. Because we have just taken the values of this one and yes, we store it here in X. And if you look at the student ID, now here we use student.info. It is just a variable up here. And within that variable, we have a dictionary and we need to access an item called student ID in dictionary. And now we have accessed that item. So we just pick the item that we have accessed and we store it here in X and we just print it. Very easy. So you can just try play around with the code, try a lot of methods, which you can find them on Google, on other websites, Java.net or any other things, and you can play around with it. So this is the end of it. That we can do dictionary, or we can also do another thing that we can only get keys. For example, not to forget this one. If you're only interested in the keys without the values, you just put a comma here in front of them and you just use key. And those keys will all be stored again in X. And if you print them, it should print them for you in this way, of which we need to perform additional operation. Sorry, it is dot key. I forget to put because keys is a function, I have to put a double parenthesis in front of it here. And if I print, it should print only key, which is a name, the student ID, and age. And if we, the opposite of it, which is the values, and it also should also do the same thing on this one. So this is another way of how you can access only values or keys of the item. And if you want to change something in this item here, for example, I just want to change something. So, but for that case, we need to use dot items. So I'll just end this tutorial here. To build more of this, just go on Google and you can find a lot of resources on internet and you can build on this stuff. There's no way I can cover it all in one tutorial, which is very, very big.